From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the Business, Equity, and Opportunities Podcast with Scott Sander.
Welcome to the Business, Equity, and Opportunities Podcast. I'm Scott Sander. On this episode,
certified financial planner James Wilkerson offers high-energy insights in financial literacy. We extend our conversation with Fifth Third Bank and its Money Matters program. And our industry focus is celebrating the Earth. We visit a Fisher's firm developing cutting-edge technology to provide a safer way to use rare earth metal.
Every business is unique and has a target audience. If you own or manage a business, Circulus Digital Media can help you connect and grow your customer base with turnkey digital solutions that are nimble, offering best-in-class results, service, and support to reach a bigger customer base, allowing you to pinpoint a specific audience down to the smallest details. Get outside the city, the state, span the globe. Put Circulus Digital Media to work for you. Get started now at circulusdigital.com. That's circulusdigital.com.
The holidays are all about sharing with family. Meals, couches, stories, Grandma's secret pecan pie recipe. And now you can also share a cart with Instacart Family Carts. Everyone can add what they want to one group cart from wherever they are. So you don't have to go from room to room to find out who wants cranberry sauce, or whether you should get mini marshmallows for the yams, or collecting votes for sugar cookies versus shortbread. Just share a cart, and then share the meals and the moments. Download the Instacart app and get delivery in as fast as 30 minutes. Plus, enjoy free delivery on your first 3 orders. Service fees and terms apply.
As we now get into April, it is another month, Financial Literacy Month, in fact, and we bring back a recent guest that proved so popular first time around. We want to talk to him again. James Wilkerson is kind enough to join us again, 20-year veteran of the U.S. Navy, a commander in the Navy, longtime financial planner as well, and has the ability to just talk straight about the idea of financial literacy and the importance of it. I warned you, my friend, that we'd put you in the Rolodex after that first appearance. We're glad you're back with us. Thanks for making time with us.
Thank you for having me. And again, I love talking about the things that we can do to put people in a better financial position.
Why? You do smile brightly when you do that. Why do you enjoy it so much?
The reason is that most people are really destroyed for a lack of knowledge. They make money, spend money, but they don't know how to protect and grow money. For example, most people spend too much time looking back at the past mistakes, things that they didn't do well. And so I have to remind them, it's kind of like a rearview mirror in a windshield. The rearview mirror is there simply to remind us of where we come from. So yes, there may have been some bumps in the road along the way, but there may have also have been some good things along the way that we can leverage as we look to the future. Now, what's in front of us is far better than what's behind us. So we have to be forward-facing and leaning forward with an expectation that things are going to get better. And
to that end, then the windshield has the wants and the needs and an open map, and you could drive anywhere you want. Help us chart that course. What should we be thinking about?
So the very first thing that we have to do is learn how money works. When we talked the last time, we talked about the fact everybody wanted more, but they don't know how to get more.
Yeah.
So we have to make sacrifices. So I'm going to sacrifice some of my wants to take care of some of the things that I really need. Everybody should be saving money because it's not if it's going to happen, it's just when is it going to happen, because bad things happen to good people all the time. And if you don't have a contingency plan in place for those things, when those bumps in the road occur, you find yourself facing a bigger financial setback.
And to that end, there's a difference, is there not, between being prepared for a setback and fearing that setback?
Without a doubt. Unfortunately, most people operate from the perspective of fear because they have never done anything like starting to really to invest or to save on a scale that put them in a position to do stuff that they never thought possible. They're a little nervous, fearful, on edge about it. And so we have to get past that fear. How do we get past that fear? Well, we leverage the people we know who have experience in that arena. There's somebody in our lives who have had a degree of success that they could share those success stories with us to help us to navigate that minefield, because we're afraid to get blown up. And when it comes to your money, you can't afford to make those kind of mistakes, because those setbacks can set you so far back that you never recover.
How do you bring this up in just friendly conversation? You're going over to a friend's house, for a meal or whatnot. Is this something people are intimidated to talk about, or are they glad to have an ear from somebody who knows the road?
It's funny you would say that, because this is one thing that I found. The people who don't have money don't like to talk about money. The people who have money talk about it because they want to get more of it. And so that's a conversation that has to happen at the dinner table in every household, because it's important for parents to groom their children to start thinking about a plan for success. And part of that narrative is let's start at the very beginning. As a child growing up in Mississippi, I was an entrepreneur. I cut yards, I sold sugar cane, I sold frozen cups. I did whatever I could because I wanted to have my own. And so in the course of having your own, you need to also have a plan to protect and grow your own. So I tell people, don't despise a small beginning. It might be $25 a week that you could put away, but if you did that for a year, that's $1,200. If it's $50 a week and you did it for a year, now you're sitting on $2,400. And you do the math behind it, at the end of the day, it could be a very significant portion of a plan to put you in a great position. And I say that because here's what I found out last week. I was at a dealership in Baton Rouge. And I asked one of the salespeople, what's the average car payment individuals are buying vehicles for? He said $1,000 monthly. $1,000. On top of that, it was not a 48 month. It was not a 60 month. This is for 72 months. And so that tells me that a lot of time needs and wants are not properly identified. You needed transportation. You just wanted something that was fancy.
Right, shiny. And 72 months is an awful long time to be.
Long time.
Yeah.
Long time. Very long time.
Looking over your shoulder, I'm reminded of your military history. And you talked about people who are excited to talk about money, people who are a little reluctant to. When you are in a military setting, there is often a rigidly structured set of circumstances in place for your day-to-day lives. We have a lot of our viewers are hoping to become veteran-owned business owners, but they are coming from a different perspective than those who've been in civilian life their entire time. Are there different sort of pathways that you find that people in the military either can take or they're a little reluctant to take based on the fact that this windshield is all theirs to drive around in?
Coming from a military background, most of those individuals have been exposed to writing a vision and executing a plan. Mm-hmm. So it's part of the narrative that they operate in. So for most people who are not from a military background, they have to work on that part of it, because anything can be accomplished, but you got to do it in bite-sized morsels. Mm-hmm. And so you begin with the end in mind. I always tell people, most people get on an airplane to get to a destination. So most people want to get somewhere, and they're starting here, but they don't know how to get there. Right. So in order to get there, they have to talk to people who have some experience. So every business owner should talk to somebody in that business arena to get some guidance on how they got there. You'll be amazed that the people who are successful in certain areas, they love to talk about what they do. Mm-hmm. They're waiting to share that information. So those individuals should be tapping into those resources of people who are doing what they want to do. And I'm guaranteeing you that there will be somebody who wants to share that information with them.
Well, we enjoy your enthusiasm and your excitement for sharing information as well. Thanks for being with us again, James Wilkerson.
Thank you so much, Scott. You have an incredible rest of your weekend. I hope everybody takes advantage of Financial Literacy Month and becomes financially lit.
Michelle Frazier is the Vice President of Community and Economic Development with Fifth Third Bank of Indiana. We caught up with her recently at a Dress for Success event to find out how the bank is helping to address financial literacy and why it's so important to anyone who wants to own their own business.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities, Accounting and Bookkeeping.
My name is Michelle Frazier, and I'm Vice President of Community Impact for Fifth Third of Greater Indiana. And We are here at Dress for Success this morning to celebrate Financial Literacy Month in the month of April. Dress for Success is a long-term partner with Fifth Third Bank, and they celebrate women through their workforce development, their financial education, and just professional development skills. Women being supported in our community, women most of the time are the backbone of what we do in our families. So that's generational wealth. That is the women feeling empowered and to empower their families and the entire community. And it's always been just a passion of mine to help people around their finances and to understand the opportunities that are there for them and to be financially educated. It's very important for women to have a strong financial background and understanding how the financial systems work, how that plays into how they manage their homes, their lives, their businesses, and their careers overall. Financial education is not just learning about the terms and the knowledge. That is a piece of it, but really feeling empowered to make those decisions for yourself now, currently, and your future. In my opinion, I don't believe you can separate the two, personal finances or business. Both of them are integral into how you're going to grow your business. A lot of business owners are really the buzzword about generational wealth. We can't get there if both of these foundations aren't solid. And so as business owners want to trade their time for money, they want to be very intentional about building up their personal credit scores, have the financial understanding of what does it mean where you're financially solid on your personal side, and how does that translate over to your business. And so a lot of times business owners will focus on just the business aspect and, access to capital and receiving funding. But a lot of that is really predicated on the personal finances. So at Fifth Third Bank, our financial education programming, I believe, is top notch. And so we really take an approach that it needs to start very young. And so we have our Young Bankers Club program, which starts with our elementary school age children and also youth serving organizations. So we start them at 4th grade because this is when they're starting to learn about math and how can we interweave personal finance into that as well. And so that programming is all digital and it is available to anyone in the state of Indiana and beyond. And then we start with our junior high and our high school students with Finance Academy. That again is a digital course available to anyone across our state. And then we support our adults, which is why we're here supporting Dress for Success with our Empower You programming. And that teaches everything from budgeting to investments to retirement and just financial basics. And so we believe in it is a generational thing. So starting very young, with our middle and high school. And then we also have an entrepreneur track with our high school students because that is also important to give them the knowledge of if they want to start a business. And then we support our adults. I would say being out in the community, supporting people around financial education. When you see those light bulbs go off, that people are getting it and they're beginning to make plans and create goals for themselves and their families, to me that is what just makes me get up and do that over and over again. I have a story. I had a young lady, I was working with her, maybe she was around 17 at the time. So we did all the financial basic things and we just kind of built that pyramid for her. And when I say pyramid, I'm talking about, your basic things, understanding your banking, your retirement, etc. And she texted me out the blue one day and said, "Hey, Shell, I'm 18 now. I remember what you said. I want to start building my credit." And I haven't talked to her about over a year. So those are the things that are impactful, that when we go out and we meet and we sit with people one-on-one, they are retaining that and they are thinking, okay, I can change the generational course for my family. I can learn new things. And when she sent that to me, that was really just amazing. And so that is why we show up and do the things we do day in and day out.
National Earth Day is the 22nd of this month. Wish TV celebrating Earth Day every day with local programming highlighting businesses that are making a difference in earth-friendly products and processes. Dave Salve is the Chief Marketing Officer for ReElement Technologies in Fishers, said to be the world's first commercial producer of rare earth elements and critical battery metals from recycled materials. The company says it does it with a low-cost, environmentally sensitive process.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Industry Focus.
My name is David Save, and I'm the Chief Marketing Officer of ReElement Technologies, and this is the ReElement pilot facility. This is where we have developed the technology born at the Purdue University laboratories and have developed it to that semi-commercial to commercial scale. So what ReElement does is we are a midstream critical mineral refining company, and what we do is we take both end-of-life material and freshly mined virgin ores, and we separate and purify it to the separated critical elements, which include both the rare earth elements and the critical battery elements. This process is very unique and is really an industry game changer, because what it essentially is behind me is these columns, which are about 3 feet in diameter and about 6 feet, they can be 6 feet tall. They're densely packed with a binding resin, and that resin is microporous. It has nanometer channels running through it, which expand the surface area, but that resin is very similar to the resin that you would find in a home water softening system. So with a home water softening system, you're basically catching metallic impurities that come through your plumbing supply before they reach the plumbing supply. But what we do is we catch the critical elements as they pass through the column, and where the home water softening system does not then layer them sequentially, what we do is we wash the resin that has the bound metallic ions, and that wash then separates them into sequence, which they can then be discharged into separate storage containers for additional treatment and processing to become that final saleable form. This is important ecologically because in order to find freshly mined materials, especially when you're talking about rare earth elements, you need deposits in the ground that have high enough concentrations of rare earths to justify the economic cost. And these deposits are usually, they encompass an area of many, many hundreds of acres. So what we do is we basically reduce the need for freshly mined material because we can recapture those rare earth elements and the critical battery elements from end-of-life recycled materials, which include a number of different feedstocks. They include recycled magnets, recycled batteries, ground and purified batteries, ground and purified magnets, and critically manufacturing waste. And so when you're manufacturing new magnets or new batteries, around 20% of the material is actually lost in the manufacturing process. And so what we can do is we can deploy these columns on a manufacturing site and essentially continuously refine that waste so that nothing is ever lost in the process. This is technology that really makes a significant dent on the monopoly in the critical mineral market that exists today. And the reason it's able to make that dent on the monopoly is because it's so cost effective. And the cost effectiveness of the technology really comes down to the fact that the resin inside is able to expand the surface area available for metallic ion binding. It condenses it into a 3 foot by 6 foot column. So what you're doing with this technology is essentially shrinking it down from what was originally the size of many football stadiums of refinery plants. And so it is not just cost effective, but it's also modular in the sense that you don't need 6 columns in order to treat feedstock coming through. You can actually insert 3 columns, 2 columns, 9 columns, whatever you need. It's scalable at the same time to meet whatever volume demands come through it. It's adaptable, so it can adapt to whatever feedstock type the partner might need. Most importantly, it's deployable, meaning we don't have to centralize our processing. We can actually ship our technology to a refining site, to a manufacturing site, to a mining site, and decentralize the entire supply chain from that point. The laboratory is extremely advanced, and what we're using it for, not just to qualify customer samples and to test material, but we also use it to test resins and to optimize resins. We are in the middle of developing version 2.0 of the technology, which is continuous chromatography, and there are massive optimizations with that technology, but also we really haven't explored the frontier of different resins and the potential for resins to further enhance the cost effectiveness and the environmentally sustainable aspects of the process. The technology was born and perfected at the Purdue University laboratories. It was Professor Linda Wang who, over the span of close to 40 years is what I've heard, is she was able to take this technology and really perfect it to be able to make that leap into the commercialization stage. And so with Purdue's support and help, we've been able to take Linda Wang's technology and commercialize it. And what we found is that her laboratory scale, while it was extremely efficient, we found that the commercial scale is actually exceeding our expectations in terms of both efficiency, sustainability, cost effectiveness, speed to produce the product. So it's really defying our own expectations internally. Our expectations with the technology going forward, really from day one, it's been to decentralize the supply chain. So to make it so that the supply of these raw materials are not wholly dependent on one single source. Our vision is to decentralize the supply chain long term, but short term it's to ship the technology overseas to our partners, to mining sites, to manufacturing sites, to essentially make a dent in the supply chain. We know we're not going to rewrite entire global supply overnight, but what we're able to do is offer these partners not just a cost-effective alternative, but also a very meaningfully, environmentally sustainable alternative that is almost zero waste water, 70% less carbon emissions, 25% less energy used, 25% less water used. So it's a very, very sustainable process. A lot of us here see this as really a once-in-a-generation opportunity, not just the convergence of EVs in the market, but the combination of market growth of EVs, the continued sustained growth of consumer electronics that use rare earth elements, the military applications that are needed that use both rare earth and critical battery elements. So the total addressable market it's near endless. And so we have an opportunity to really rewrite entire supply chains and to offer an honestly sustainable solution that's going to be able to preserve the delicate ecosystems that a lot of these materials come from. So it's a great honor for us.
Our thanks again to all the contributors who joined us for this episode of the Business Equity and Opportunities podcast. We hope you found it enlightening, useful, and inspiring. You'll find more information about the show on our website, BEOshow.com. You can watch Business Equity and Opportunities Sunday mornings at 10 on Wish TV or live stream it through wishtv.com. Each week we provide 7 full segments with topics ranging from how to get started and how to access capital to the day-to-day running of your business and questions about accounting and bookkeeping. We feature business news and trends and always share a success story from one of our contributors. Join us next time for more insights into the world of small business. Be sure to sign up for our Business Equity and Opportunities newsletter to get even more valuable, up-to-date information. And if you have any questions or you'd like to be part of our show, please email us. The address is beo@wishtv.com. We'd love to hear from you. I'm Scott Sander. Thanks for listening.
Watch the Business Equity and Opportunity Show on Wish TV and access all of our content and share it on demand anytime at BEOshow.com. You can find more podcasts from Wish TV on the All Indiana Podcast Network at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.